You cannot just focus on one aspect of your being, whether it's just the energetic systems or the nervous system or your thoughts. It's all of them coming into sync. That is what we call true cohesiveness and healing in our life. I want to talk about some of the chakras and the influence they have on our nervous system as a whole, because we don't always recognize the chakras as having a hold on our nervous system, but they do. Hello and welcome. My name is Tina Brigitini. Today I want to share with you nervous system and chakras and the relationship that they have with each other, because these are not separate. They are one influencing the other. So let's begin with your crown chakra. Now, your crown chakra, you may not recognize that as something directly influencing your nervous system. However, it is, because the crown chakra is your source, your feed for source energy that is right above the top of your head. Now, we all have chakras, so we all have access to higher, clearer energy. However, we sometimes have old traumas that get in the way and they create blockages in these chakras. Now, we can also look at that as nervous system response, because they are one in the same. We don't have to separate them out. The difference with chakras is that you will hear about them from a spiritual perspective versus a physical response. But they are actually the same, and we will have physical responses because the chakras are also influencing our nervous system state. And what happens is, in energetic terms, when a situation happens and it reminds us of something that happened in the past that our nervous system had to adapt to, then our nervous system starts to adapt. But what's really happening here on an energetic level is that we may have created what's called a subpersonality. And that subpersonality is just a sub part. So what happens is, if we move into that sub part of ourselves, it's going to want to protect, because the nervous system just got triggered. I want to go back through the chakras. So we have the crown chakra, our source feed, and then we have the third eye, which is related to the pineal gland, the third eye, and the crown chakra is the hypothalamus. The pineal gland is also our place of intuition and our ability to see clearly what is happening in our life, right? So intuition is basically saying, I can access a higher guidance right now that can lead me in the right direction. Your throat chakra, and keep in mind, all your chakras are influencing your nervous system, and I'll go into that in a deeper pattern in just a second. But your throat chakra is the vortex right at the notch of your throat, and it comes out the back at C7. So we have a front and back of the chakras. Now, I have many videos talking about chakras. Today, I'm really relating them to the nervous system and bringing that from a spiritual level to an actual physical level, because they are one and the same. Now, if you think about old traumas where we didn't have a voice, what happens is our throat chakra may be blocked because we haven't been able to have a voice in the past. Now, you may also experience, this was one of my experiences. I don't know who traumatized me as a little kid, but when I got older, I recognized that I had a very difficult time standing up to men who were large. And I'm not sure where that came from. The only thing I can think of is that my grandfather was probably really tall. From what I understand, he was a wonderful man. He probably didn't harm me in any way. But as a child, if he reprimanded me for something, it must have done something to my nervous system. That's all I can think of. Now, what's important is not that I really know exactly what that was, except that if I can't speak up in some circumstances, I may be able to speak up in others. So let's say, for example, that I had a very sweet and kind grandmother that just listened to everything that I said. And she was short. She was like less than 5 feet tall. I may find that I have a voice with women who are on the smaller side, but I don't have a voice when it comes to men because that man is triggering my nervous system, which had to adapt at that time. So there's the physical response. So the throat chakra feels blocked and then it feels open. The same thing can happen with the heart chakra. We may find that we shut down around certain people and other people, our heart chakra seems to expand. Now, in many cases, this can be good information for you. It's telling you and your nervous system where you feel safe in life. And our heart chakra, for those of you who aren't familiar, is right over the thymus gland. You can just tap that thymus gland. Now we also have what's called the third chakra, and how that relates to the nervous system is whether we're comfortable putting ourselves out into the world or not. And if we were told as we were young that, no, you can't do that, no, get out of there, get off of that bike, get in this house, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you're not smart enough, whatever your programming was, then we carry those messages which our nervous system adapted to, which then influences our chakras at the same time. So our third chakra feel like it's just blocked, we're not moving forward. In some cases, it's just leaking a whole lot of energy. And I get into that a lot more in some of my other videos. So go ahead, you can, if you want, you can grab the playlist, and I talk about energy throughout this entire playlist. And then we have what's called the second chakra, which is where all of our emotional trauma lives. And usually it's the younger ones, it's the babies, it's the toddlers, it's the young child. Their energy all lives in our second chakra. And this is something else that also influences our nervous system, right? Because if we've got trauma from the past, then our nervous system adapted around that trauma. When similar circumstances happen, we can feel that in our second chakra. That can show up as a physical response. Not only the nervous system that had to adapt, but we may feel tightness in our hips or pain in our sacrum, or what do they call that? The sciatic pain. Some people, it's menstrual cramps, difficulty delivering children. This all relates to second chakra, sometimes difficulty with conception or difficulty truly relaxing in an intimate relationship. And so that's our second chakra. Then we have the base chakra, which is our place of fear. Now, fear is absolutely influencing our nervous system. When we are in fearful situations and our nervous system responds, it can put us into fight or flight, right? Or sometimes freeze, where we just don't respond to anything. So all of these things are playing out in your life. It's not just your nervous system. It's not just your energetic systems. However, If you can get your energetic systems nice and clear, you can clear the energy around some of those traumas where your nervous system no longer has to respond the same way. And I find that with many of the clients that I have worked with through the years, have said many, many times, I'm not responding the same way that I used to. Well, what's not responding is their nervous system. So it's truly fascinating. Anyway, my name is Tina Brigitini. I'm going to stop here. And if you are enjoying learning more about energetic systems, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me here today. Many blessings to you.